Hey, I'm James from Craft BBQ, and I'm just recently back from Texas, where I brought with me 3 secrets that came up over and over in all my conversations, whether it was with top pitmasters, legendary barbecue figures, and or the crew working behind the scenes in order to serve up some amazing food. They all shared a version of the same 3 secrets, and this is reshaping how I think about these 3 things. 1, the role of technology when it comes to grilling and smoking at home. Second is complexity in terms of all those extra little flourishes. Sometimes we can get carried away, and YouTube is a place where I've fallen a victim for that, and I'm sure been part of the problem at times. So less is more. How does this really come to be? And last but not least, if you're planning a trip, I had some extra footage and a sit-down chat with John Bates from Interstellar Barbecue. Has some great tips and tricks on how to get the most out of a trip to the Lone Star State if you are able to go and experience some of the world's best barbecue firsthand. So I'm going to bring all these 3 secrets together. Let's get started first with technology. What do you see sort of the intersection of technology versus craft, and is it starting to get to the point where it's doing maybe more harm?
It does more harm when people rely on it too much, because like a craft, and there's like a certain area of like science, technology, and things like that. But when you get too much of that and you lose a feel for it, well, you've kind of lost the soul. And I think that's a little tricky. Obviously, I love thermometers. It's nice to have a little bit of a roadmap for what's going on inside a piece of meat or how hot your fire is. You can't just, like, the only thing is like, oh, I can just feel how hot it is. No, you can't. It's hot. That's as good as you can get.
That's right.
But I'm kind of a science nut, so I need to be able to replicate everything, and that's how we cook here. But at the end of the day, your hands and your feel in the craft have to trump any technology. You just have to get a feel for it.
I mean, I think a healthy little bit of technology helps in life, but I think if you're cooking in the Texas style, if you're doing classic Texas barbecue, which is built on the low and slow method, technology is a bit overrated. I mean, it comes down to having high quality ingredients, cooking with heart, with soul, touching that food, seeing the smoke, seeing the fire, being heavily involved in the process comes through in the flavor. And I don't think there's any amount of technology that can mimic that.
Right.
Now, I like a good thermometer. But that's about as high tech as I get with my barbecue.
I'm with you. I look back at it. I love my thermometer as well. And I use this analogy sort of before of driving. In hindsight, no doubt, ABS brakes save people from crashing.
Of course, yeah.
That's a good example of technology. The rental car I have here, I don't know how to figure it, turn it off, but the steering wheel is trying to keep me in the lane, even though I'm in the lane, and I feel like I'm wrestling with it, and it's like sapped the joy out of the experience.
For a car, give me a clutch and a stick shift, and let's go drive.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how you drive.
And I don't have anything against pellet grills, because if you're making barbecue, if you're smoking, proteins, that's great. I don't really care what you're smoking on. But there is something to, the typical set it and forget it type of deal, that you lose some attention to detail when it comes to, what's inside that machine. And so a stick burner, you're having to pay attention to it. You chunk the diaper, now you got your big boy pants on, and I think that you taste that, you see that at the end product, and I think that's just because the attention to detail. And then obviously there's no way a plug-in unit's going to have the same flavor as a traditional offset.
So I'm only about 10 years into cooking on an offset, but I maybe felt. Maybe betrayed is the wrong word, but the marketing promise of you're getting the true Texas experience, and
it's all marketing.
I could not have been more shocked at the difference.
They taste completely different, but the opportunity to really mess up a cook is there.
Right.
Like if you're not gonna really hone in, be there, be present, be detailed and meticulous.
Right.
Maybe a pellet cooker's for you.
The new ideas or the complexity and steps, and sometimes it's like a vacation coming back to cooking more simply, and sometimes it feels like, oh, it's not going to be as good, but I actually think like what I tasted, what you serve, it's just so much better. Simple things done well. What's your thoughts on simplicity, keeping it simple, versus the flourishes?
Yeah, I mean, like we discussed earlier, I think confidence in a chef and a cook really comes through when you're editing a dish, which I think is really key when it comes to food, because I'm a big believer in kind of the Italian ideal that 2, 3, 4 well-chosen ingredients will work in harmony much better than say like 15 or 25 ingredients. So I'm very much a proponent of like looking at a recipe that I've created and say, all right, this is really good. How can I simplify this and make it better?
Right.
Because consistency comes when you've made things easy to replicate. And for me, it's like keep it simple and beautiful is the goal.
There's a bit of a trend now.
You know what's new?
What?
Old stuff.
Old, yeah, exactly.
It always comes full circle. It's like,
Right.
oh, this new thing. And then it's like, oh, well, maybe it's not as great as it was. Like, there's
Right.
definitely like the type of person that gets into offset cooking, that gets into barbecue.
Right.
I think is also the kind of person that's what we do.
Yeah.
You know what? I
Keep
can't
messing
tell
with
you how many years it's been since I've watched anything on barbecue or
Right.
read anything on barbecue. No.
Yeah. I think
just don't
sometimes
know.
that's a good thing to do.
I think
Right.
so.
Yeah.
You know, because I really what it comes down to is I don't want any decision we make here to be influenced by what someone else is doing. Like,
Right.
I want it to be something that we're passionate about, we're good at it. You know, we do the 5 meats, we do the 3 sides, and we do it hopefully better every day than we've ever done it.
Yeah.
You know, and of course it ebbs and flows like any place, but yeah, I don't really watch stuff. I just don't.
Right.
I don't know. It makes me feel really, really weird when I
Yeah.
read about barbecue, especially if someone mentions me. I'm like, oh no, I don't want to read about me again.
Yeah.
This is terrible.
Stay out of the comment section.
Yeah.
That's rule number 1.
Yeah,
Well-
don't read the back page.
Exactly.
But Texas barbecue is just simple, ingredients, tend to the fire, and make some amazing barbecue. People don't understand good barbecue until they've had good barbecue, and then they're just hooked. You're just hooked. You can't get away from it, which is great for us and great for our local restaurants. But there is something about Texas barbecue that they render down the fat. Unlike competition, like you're saying, it's just crazy. The dust whirlwind. Got to get it in. It's got to look perfect. It's got to. There you go. And
Right.
you hope, fingers crossed. But these men and women that produce barbecue on a day in and day out basis, are really hyper focused on the final product. And, there's no shortcuts because, especially with social media now and reviews, you don't want anything to slip. So you're always on your tiptoes and doing the best you can, which it's great.
Well, I spend a lot of time thinking about how to perfect my dry rub or getting an even better bark on my brisket. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about the sun and or proper skincare routines. But if there's something that I notice doing YouTube videos, going back in my library particularly, it's when I've enjoyed a little bit too much brisket or when I can see the effects of aging happening on clips I didn't think I recorded all that long ago. So until there's smoking wood logs invented with SPF protection built in, I've partnered with Geologie to try a little bit harder to slow down the speed at which I'm racing towards granddad mode. Don't know if my sweater's helping the cause, but that's beside the point. While I may be willing to give up my straight dry edge shave in the morning, I needed something that's simple, no fluffy extras, and actually has science behind it, proving that it works at targeting things I've noticed in my own skin, like the bags under my eyes or some of these sunspots. Geologie isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. I took the quiz on the website, which created a personalized routine for me. There are over 10,000 5-star reviews and 38 awards that gave me the confidence to start a new personalized routine tailored to my specific needs. If you'd like to join me at reversing some of those flame-kissed skin side effects, be sure to check out the link down below and take the Geologie skincare quiz to create your own personalized routine. And while you're there, when you check out, enter code BBQ70 and grab 70% off your first subscription box of your personalized skincare trial set. Remember, there's also a 50% add-on waiting for you. Thanks, Geologie, for partnering with me and sponsoring today's video. Now, back to the action. Well, if one thing I have a regret is that I didn't show up hungrier. We got a good sample.
We'll get you next time.
We got a good sample, but maybe that's something, for people that are coming and thinking about the sampling, it's like you're pointed out in Texas Monthly recognized by Michelin. But like, just to give you guys, like, I'm not making this up, the intersection of flavors that you have between your sides, your mains, the sauces, like, outstanding.
Thank you.
Work. So maybe for people that are coming, maybe warn them not to do what James did and arrive with a partially full gas tank already, but like, maybe what's your recommendation of how to best experience your restaurant when they do make the trip? And please, I recommend make the trip.
Yeah, I mean, so the best way to experience Interstellar, show up with some friends, show up with a 6-pack of beer, because we are BYOB, and show up hungry.
Right.
Because to best understand the kind of food that myself and my team makes is to try a little bit of everything. So get a slice of brisket, get a beef rib, get a pork rib, get a piece of pork belly, get some turkey, even try some of the wacky stuff like the mushroom Frito pie, and try some of the sides, because to best understand my food is to try a little bit of it all together. Take a piece of that turkey and smear it through the chimichurri. Eat a piece of brisket all by itself with the fat from the moist side. Then bite into a pickled onion and maybe a piece of cucumber. It's the overall experience that creates the harmony that we're shooting for. So that's the best way to enjoy our food. Now, I'm happy if you want to just come have a slice of brisket and some potato salad with me too. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to get the true Interstellar experience, it's about trying many things at once.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm 1,600 miles away, but you've already transformed what I'm thinking taking back with me, which is a couple things. One, sometimes less is more.
Always.
And I hope, I'm not even going to put it in the same playing field, but I hope I wouldn't get laughed out of the room on the brisket. But my sides, I've not spent near as much time thinking about the whole experience. And so thinking about, you know, when I make food for friends and family, the complete experience, and also simplicity. Anything else you think people at home should?
No, I mean, I think you really hit the nail on the head. I mean, when we add a new menu item to the menu, one of the questions I ask myself is like, how is this going to interact with the barbecue? Is this appropriate for the barbecue? So I think cooking from that point of view in anything you do, whether it's barbecue or a pot roast or a nice spaghetti for dinner, it's like choose things to go with it that make sense and are going to increase the enjoyment factor.
Right.
And as long as you're cooking for enjoyment and cooking for your belly, you're going to be on the right track.
Absolutely.
So.
Well, thank you so much, John. Really appreciate it.
Good to meet you, man. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you. So now that we're back at home, what are some of the takeaways that I'm going to be adapting myself? So the first one you'll see sort of more of is kind of putting technology in the box that it should be. I do, as I said earlier, love my gadgets, but as Aaron described, getting some good information, like, is my fire going crazy? Is it dying? Is the brisket getting to a spot where I need to do something? If you aren't familiar in cooking brisket every single day, like the pros are, and again, to be clear, there is not a single offset if you pop it open with 30 briskets in it that is littered with probes and wires. This just isn't found at the world's best barbecue, nor do I think, you know, technology that maybe advertises the need to do that in our backyard is exactly really what we need. So sticking to more of what we need versus the features is even something I'll hold as a standard in future technology reviews. You know, on the less is more, I'll try and separate. You know, Texas was an amazing trip. I had a great time last year as well when I competed at Memphis in May. So there's things that you do for competition barbecue where you have one bite and you're trying to get the maximum flavor. And some of my recipes have some of those elements, whether it gets into things like injections or a little bit more complex features that you can do to amp up the flavor. But I'll try and think of a simpler way of what you need, or to be clear, that you can get an amazing backyard barbecue result. And don't be ashamed if it's simple. Simple can be amazing, just like all the food that I tasted in Texas, as well as working on my side dishes. And so I've got a couple ideas on how to turn out amazing sides along with whatever it is that you might be cooking as your main dish. So adding more sides and keeping things simple is something I'm going to try and again contain myself. And if I do go on a rampage for competition barbecue, I'll try and label it that that's exactly what it is. So if you want to follow along with a more advanced technique, but don't feel that you need a PhD in chemical science and or anything else like that in order to turn out amazing barbecue. So I'll try and keep those more simple because it's just not needed. And last but not least is to continue to try and find and share more of these great experiences. And I'm trying to maybe work on one where we could meet together at a Texas BBQ joint and participate in one of their classes. So if this would be something that's interesting to you, let me know down in the comments if you'd be interested in a barbecue class and a bit of an in-person meetup. We could maybe do a roadshow together at some of these incredible places. So let me know in the comments. This is just an idea that I am toying around with. That's it for today. I'm James from Soaking Dead Barbecue signing off. Remember, don't be afraid to fire it up.